Hello and welcome to the Daily Dose. Today we are talking about who made an impact in our lives. So specifically, I am going to talk to you about my grandpa Leonard. My grandpa was my dad's dad. Lived on the farm when I grew up. I lived just on part of the property, and so even as a 2-year-old, I would just walk through the little path to get to my grandparents' house. And it didn't matter if it was rain or snow, or if it was calving or harvest season, we would always find ourselves at church on Sundays. And that was who my grandpa was. He was a man of faith, and he might fall asleep during the sermon because he had to be up late working and then up early to work again on the farm. But that was always the thing that we did. We'd always go to church together. And I would cover my head up on my grandma's lap during the sermons while the pastor yelled at me, and then burst out in song as a really young kid to sing the hymns, to sing the liturgy. And that was just a huge part of my life. He was also involved in Men in Mission, the council, and all these different things that I would go in with him. And the church just became my home because of what my grandparents did at that church. And one of the things that I still remember to this day, I would often, after he left the farm because his health was not great, they had an apartment in town in Little Hazen, North Dakota. And he really struggled to get around. He struggled to hear and to see. But even so, before bedtime, I'd kind of put him to bed when I was 10. And he'd have me help him down on his knees beside his bed so we could pray together. And we'd pray together, and some of it, like the Lord's Prayer, "Now I lay me down to sleep," and then also a German prayer that I know a little bit of what it means, and I can still say it by sound, even if it would be wrong, because of all those nights that I would help my grandpa down beside the bed to pray and help lift him up again so he could get into bed for sleep. And even to the end of his life, I was 15 years old, and I was going on my very first mission trip to a reservation in Wyoming. And he had been in hospice for a while prior to that and actually got out, but I was getting ready to go. And I'll never forget the way he hugged me before I left on that trip. It was like just the biggest embrace that I had gotten from anybody, and it was from my grandpa. And he gave me money, which wasn't normal for us. He gave me money for that trip. And that was the last time I saw him alive, because as soon as I got on this 2-day road trip to Wyoming to serve, as soon as we got there, we got a call that he had passed away, as if he were to say, "Don't worry about me, you go change the world." And that is something that I will always remember about my grandpa, is he always saw so much in me, and he always wanted us all to make a difference in our lives. And that is my story about my grandpa Leonard. Thanks for joining us. Please, when you watch this video, share it. And on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching this on cable access, invite a friend to watch with you. God bless.